Good morning, everyone. Jason will be in about 10, 15 minutes. If you need to go to the restroom, go now because once we start, he's going to talk to you a little bit about what to look for, give you about a 15 to 20-minute school, and then they're going to roll right on into the contest. And I wanted to let you guys know, I just found this out Monday. We normally only have one $2,000 Rick Jones scholarship. OKC West called me Monday. We're going to have a first place, 2,500, second place, 2, and third place, 1,500. So please make sure, if you have not, ag teachers, if you have not an FFA, if you have not got a thank you card or thank you list of the sponsors, be sure and get those. Be sure and especially get all those sponsors a thank you card because without them, this contest is not available. If you lost a Scantron, it's been turned in. Go get it or get a new one. And please go to the restroom now, get a drink, whatever you need now, because once Jason and Tina get in, we're going to start the contest. Barnhart and OKC West.
Off the scales. You gotta get off the scales.
And then is her hands going to be messing with it? Like the little girls up here.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's okay.
Have her take her hands off. Y'all take your feet off. Take your feet off of.
All right.
All right. Is the heat on up here?
Yeah, I'm turning it off.
Okay.
Brought you two just in case.
Oh.
And put this right, well, just right in there. We're waiting on Tina if you want to go ahead and announce. I did, but go ahead and announce it again and then all that.
You did announce all of that?
No, I
Oh.
just announced the scholarships. I couldn't figure out how to turn this one off,
That's all.
but I turned everything. If you want to announce it again, and
All right.
then we can kind of get started and get them moving. Thank you, Jason.
No problem.
All right, good morning, everyone. I think we're getting close to getting ready to get started here, so thank you guys for your patience. First off, I'd like to welcome everybody, and it's good to see such a big crowd here. I think Dee Dee has already kind of gone over a few announcements, but we've got a few others here to run through. Probably just echo what she probably announced earlier. Big thank you goes out to the folks here at OKC West for their sponsorship and their involvement in this contest. I think she said, in years past, through the Rick Jones Scholarship, which they sponsor, we've been able to do just one award for the high individual. But this year they have added a considerable amount or more money into to this award, and so are going to be doing $2,500 scholarship for first place, $2,000 for second, and $1,500 scholarship for our third overall individual here today. So I think that deserves a big thank you to the folks here. Also, in addition to that financial investment, last night, Tina and I, we came out, looked through. They had purchased, there's 54 head of cattle that we have went through last night and culled those down to get our contest. But just that investment of purchasing those 54 animals for us to look through was right at $94,000. So definitely not a cheap thing to be purchasing cattle at this time in the market. So yet again, another big investment into the contest, and you guys as the youth out there for this. They see such value in it. Also, they wanted to say, that's what, before we start, if there's anybody that we have that's running for a state FFA office, if you want to stand up and introduce yourself, we can do that now. So I don't know. I think I see 2 or 3 faces that I know are going to be running. So if you guys want to stand up and say your name, who you're with, and what office you're running for, let's do that at this time. We'll go ladies first over here, and then we'll work our way over. All right, I think that is everyone that I see. Also, one of the more important announcements of the day, after the contest is over, we are going to run all the contest cattle back through and give you the results so you can kind of check and see how you actually did. After that is over, lunch will be served for you guys in the cafe. So we will, after we're done, make an orderly exit out, and then you will be able to get the lunch that is being provided, which is always, I think, good barbecue that they generally have. After that, we'll come back in here, announce all the award winners, and then after that is done, if you are staying and competing for the Beef Advocate contest, that will take place after the awards have been announced. So I think that is all the announcements that we have. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jason Harvey. I'm with the State Department of Agriculture with their marketing division up here. Brady Womack is also with me here with the State Department of Ag. We also have Tina Colby. She is with the USDA office here in Oklahoma, is head of it. And so we're going to be the ones putting on the contest for you here today. So as we normally do, we generally start off with a school. So for those of you that this may be your first time, do not mark your cards at right now. We've got 2 feeder animals and 2 slaughter cows that we're going to run in and talk about real quick. So with that, we'll just go ahead and let these first 2 animals in. Like Coy also said that this is also being kind of videoed and broadcast over the OKC West YouTube channel. So if you want to, whenever you get back home, you can log on to it and pull it up, and then be able to look at the animals again, and then probably talk about how Tina and I probably got them wrong, and you guys were right in how you saw them today. But that is a good tool to be able to go back and look at those animals as they were here in the ring, and kind of see how we did it. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Tina. She's going to talk about these 2 slaughter cows, and here we go.
Good morning, everybody. It looks like we have a good crowd. We had wonderful weather this time, so no excuse for Jason and I as far as wind and rain and that sort of thing. So talking about slaughter cows. So what's most important with the slaughter cows, and you see on your card, the very first thing that you have to pick out is back fat. How much back fat is that cow carrying, and where do we look for it? So a cow will put in fat, most importantly in their brisket, over the top of their back, over their rounds, around their tail head, over their shoulder blade. The less bone you see, the fatter that cow is. Don't mistake muscle for fat. Muscle flexes when they walk. You'll see that muscle shape as they walk. Fat is kind of squishy looking, kind of looks like a sponge. So make sure you're looking at fat and not muscle. When we grade slaughter cows, we have 3 basic grades that we use. That's breaker, boner, and a lean cow. So a breaker cow would be the fleshiest cow that we grade. A lean cow is the thinnest cow that we grade. So starting off with a breaker cow, that breaker cow would be flat-backed. She'd have fat around her tail head. She would be full in her brisket. And for those of you who don't know where that brisket is, that's below her neck, in between her legs. She's also fat over her ribs and through her shoulder. You absolutely don't see any bone shape on her. Sometimes those breakers get so fat that they absolutely look like a rectangle with legs. So the fatter a cow gets, the more kind of square shape or rectangular shape they'll take on. On the other side, you have a lean cow, and a lean cow is just like we say, it's thin-fleshed, very thin flesh. So there you do see quite a bit of bone shape. You'll see bone over the top of their back. Some of them will be so thin they'll be dished out in their rounds. You'll start seeing some lateral processes, meaning that top loin shelf kind of looks like the knuckles when you make a fist. There will be absolutely no brisket. You'll even see some blade action when they walk over their shoulder. You'll also see quite a bit of rib. Boner cow is a little more difficult to explain. It falls right there in the middle. They're just starting to put on some brisket, but not quite enough to see it to be as big as my fist. To me, a boner cow kind of looks like a lean cow that has carpet on it. So meaning, you know there's bone there, but you just can't see that rigid bone shape. A boner cow also looks like a Coke bottle when you know, if you were to look at it over the top, which you can't really see sitting down there, but if you're up there at the top, you know, that cow kind of looks like a Coke bottle shape. I kind of seem to think it's the more athletic type of cow when thinking about a slaughtered cow. Let's move on to muscle shape, and just like feeder cattle, Cows are pretty much the same. It's all geometrics. The thicker that they are, the more round shape they look when looking through their rear end. Rectangular shape is more of an average muscle shape. And then a thin muscle shape is more inverted triangle. A lot of your dairy cattle tend to be that inverted triangle, is they're more into making milk and not so much meat. So we have thick, average, and thin. Again, thick is that round muscle shape, thin inverted triangle, and average is a more rectangle shape. Again, you got to tell between muscle and fat. Again, that fat goes on kind of patchy, and muscle is a more smooth, round shape. The last thing we want to talk about with slaughter cows is dressing percent. So dressing percent is carcass weight divided by live weight. And that pretty much means what's hanging there on the rail when everything else is gone. So what adds to dressing percent? So the bigger a cow is, the more she's going to dress. The heavier muscled she is, the more she's going to dress. The fatter that cow is, the more she's going to dress. And then the less fill that she has, the more she'll dress. So on the other side of that, what takes away from dressing percent? So the lighter the cow is, the less she's going to dress, meaning something under 1,000 pounds. The more fill she has, the less she's going to dress. The lighter muscled she is, the less she'll dress. Also, if she's got a pretty big bag on her, that will take away from dressing percent. You kind of have to judge that bag as to being something that's exceptionally large. Like these two cows that are in here, their bags are pretty normal, and I wouldn't take off for dressing percent of the cows. Cows in average dressing percent will dress anywhere from 45 to 54%. So your fatter type cows will be up there in that early 50% range. So let's talk about the two cows that we have in the ring. And before that, does anybody have any questions? Did I forget anything? Let's talk about the cow that's closest to you. That's she's got a back tag of 7230. You can't see that, but she's barely got enough fat cover there. And like I said, that kind of leads toward a boner cow. You don't see too much bone shape coming down her back. You don't see lateral processes. We think she has just about 2/10 back fat, and that is 83% lean if you follow along on the card. We will give you the weight of these cows. She weighs 1,100 pounds, and that is no adjustment. So look at her muscle shape. It's pretty rectangular in shape, isn't it? You don't see too much roundness to it. You don't see too much inverted triangle. It's pretty rectangular. We've got her an average plus, so that's an adjustment of a +1, and that gives you an 84%, so right there in that boner category. Dressing percent on this cow, we've got her at 48%. I do think she is a little bit gant, and that gives her a final of 49. So a boner cow and 49%. So the next cow, I know you're thinking, well, that cow looks quite a bit the same as the other. She is a little dished out in her rounds. Dawson, can you move them around just a little bit? She's kind of starting to show some bone in her lateral processes, and this is the type of cow that, Jason and I would stand out there and kind of argue, well, is she 1,500ths or 2/10? And we don't think she's either one. If you notice, this cow we're talking about now, she's got that dished out round look, versus the 7230 cow, not so much. So we've actually called this an 1800s cow. I don't think she's got enough of that lateral process, knuckle look to call her a 1500s cow, and that's why we've got her in a school, just to show you this is what we think an 1800s back fat cow looks like. So on your card, that is an 83.5% lean cow. Her weight is 1,050, and that is a plus 0.4 adjustment. Her muscle shape, on the other hand, is not as good as the previous cow. If you look at her from behind, she has actually started that inverted triangle look, and so that does get her down into that thin category. We've actually called her a thin plus. We think she's up there on the top side of that thin muscled category, and that is an adjustment of no adjustment. So the final on her is an 83.9. So both of these cows very similar and still in that boner category. I think no adjustment for fill or lack thereof, so we've called her a 47% dressing percent. So we've got a 47% boner and a 49% boner. Most of the time, you see lean cows and boner cows in Oklahoma. Not so many breakers. This time of year we do, but they cost a lot of money right now. So, anybody have any questions? Okay, we'll move on to feeder cattle.
All right, now we're going to talk about our feeder cattle grades. If you'll kind of look down there in the bottom right-hand corner of your card, you'll see kind of there in some of the helpful tips there. Kind of one of the things that first mark on your card, you're going to determine, if this is a feeder steer or a feeder heifer. Reasoning why leads us into our next mark when we're looking at frame size. What we're trying to do is we know that with how cattle, these heifers will mature quicker and faster than what the steers will, and so therefore do not need to be quite as heavy and big. What we're trying to do is we're looking at these animals where they are here today and then trying to look and estimate or guesstimate or use our knowledge of beef cattle breeds and what they're going to do to estimate where are they going to be at time of slaughter. They're not ready to be slaughtered at this time, but where are they going to be at time of slaughter for them to be able to be able to grade. And so as you see down there in the bottom right-hand corner, for a steer to be considered a large frame steer, he's going to have to weigh in excess of 1,250 pounds. For a heifer, that weight is 1,150 pounds. For those animals to be into the medium frame category, a steer will need to be somewhere between 1,100 to 1,250 pounds. Heifers, 1,000 to 1,150 pounds. And for small frame animals, those steers would be under 1,100 pounds and heifers would be under 1,000 pounds. So what we're trying to do is look at these animals here live today and where they are. And I try and look at several different things. We're trying to first assess how old are these animals and how far along are they. We know that with cattle, just like humans, as they're younger, they're going to grow and get taller and get bigger, and at some point they're going to hit that mark, and they're just going to stop growing up and then start putting on weight and growing out. And we know certain breeds of animals are going to be larger in their makeup. Also, how much kind of the age. Some of the things that we look at is the length of that twitch on their tail, or that length of tail there. We know that that is something that as the animal continues to grow and get older, that the length of that tail will continue to get older. So if you've got one, you can kind of see here that they're different heights, but still, if you can look, the white steer tail ends right there, kind of about that hawk. The black animal, his tail ends and is down below. So that tells me that he's going to be. He's a little older than the Charolais appearing steer here. Another thing to look at is look at their heads. Cattle will look a little bit more kind of dished out and longer appearing in their kind of muzzle and nose is a good way to look at animals of being able to determine kind of their youthfulness. Another thing that we look for, you don't see as much now with our genetics, is the appearance of horns or spurs. If you do see animals that have those there, we know that those horns, just like the tail, as those animals continue to get older, the base of that horn continues to get bigger. I mean, if you think of an old cow or a bull or something that you've seen that has got some age, the base of that horn is probably the size of my fist or larger. That continues to grow. So if you see an animal that has some evidence of horns or there, that would be something to kind of look at and determine, a little bit of kind of a window into their age. As I said earlier, we think that we have two different ages of cattle here. The light-colored Charolais-looking steer looks like he is is younger than the black calf. He's one that going back to our 1,250 pounds. We think that, and you also need to use kind of some of your knowledge, like I said, of cattle breeds and the cattle industry, of what are these animals going to do. Sometimes you see some that have had a little bit harder life than others that may not have had the greenest grass or the best mom that has provided for them to get to where they are right now. But with their genetic makeup, they would, once they leave here and go either to grass fields or to the feed yard to be put on grain to grow, that they then have that potential. So, but we know that these Charolais cattle will tend to be large and grow. We think that this calf here, Tina and I, whenever we're looking at them in the back, and Brady, when we don't just stop at a large, or medium. We kind of look and see what percentage into that category are they going to be. That's whenever you're doing this like Tina does for a living. That is what whenever we're grading, we kind of drill down even further than just being a large, medium, or small. So we think that this steer is going to be, where with his youthfulness, with his size that he is today. You look at the length of those legs. Not the heaviest boned animal, but he does. He's not really fine boned either. One that we think that is, going to be probably 90, 80, 100% up into that large frame category. I think he's just going to be a massive steer once you take and put him out in the feed yard and give him grain and a green light to grow. Compare that to the black calf. They're standing there. He's kind of in the front for most of you guys, but you're still able to see the hips and more over of the Charolais steer over him. He's not very tall in his skeletal nature. That's what he's got some age. So we think that he's one that is he's not going to get very big. He's just going to then continue to put on some weight. We think that this calf is, if you look at him here, he's already putting on a little bit of brisket. He's also, if you look over that tail head, starting to put on and be a little bit pony in some of his fat deposits there. that leads us to think that he's not going to be very, very tall in his frame, and we have him about 70-80% up into the medium frame grade. So that's saying that we think that he's going to be somewhere around that 1,190, 1,200 pounds whenever he is going to the rail. So Charolais steer, large frame. Black steer was a medium frame. Moving on now to the muscle grades, kind of like Tina had kind of explained with our slaughter cows. We've got 4 different areas: 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 being the highest. Like her, I like to think of shapes whenever I'm explaining this. A 1, whenever you look either at them from the profile here or from a rear view, has got some roundness, some curvature there. Also, one that they've got to carry it all the way down to that, throughout that stifle. A number 2 is going to be more flatter in their muscle shape, more rectangular whenever you're looking at them. A number 3 animal is going to be one that's more in a triangle, one that whenever you're looking at them from a profile, they start to kind of have that angular shape of that muscle shape, or if they're you look at them straight from behind, they're wider there up at their hips, and then they start to run kind of diagonal down to that point, down to their hocks. A lot of times, those, whenever you're seeing them walk, those hocks are really close together, and a lot of times rubbing whenever you're looking at that. Another thing that we have to look at, and you hear us talk about flesh condition on cattle, and that is merely just looking at fat cover. What are we looking at? Just an average calf, an average flesh condition? Are we looking at one that's fleshy, or one that's kind of light and that does not have a whole lot of fat cover? And so what are we looking at? Are we looking at fat or not? And I think that we've got reasons that we picked these 2 animals here are some that you can hopefully see that this black calf I've kind of already talked about a little bit of starting to put on some fat cover in his brisket. He's also pretty fat over that tail head, and whenever you see him walk, there's a lot of wiggling and jiggling that's going on back there. I think that what you're looking at there is a little bit more fat cover compared to whenever you look at this Charolais steer. We think he's very thin-fleshed. So we think that what you're really looking at there is like all muscle with no fat cover over it. And so now we're just trying to determine, where are these animals? We'll start here with the black animal. We think that even though that whenever you look at him, there is a little bit of shape and some curvature there, that is we feel a lot of fat that you're looking at, and is one that we feel that would be a very high 2, because of the true muscle that this calf has is being covered and masquerading. What you're seeing is with fat cover here. The Charolais steer, in contrast, we feel is very thin in his flesh condition. Whenever you look at him, he's not just big and bold and expressive, but whenever you see him walking, if you look a lot of times also right there, whenever they plant that back leg or they're turning, there's a lot of times right there in that stifle region you can see some creases. That's a good indication of that muscle is there. And whenever you look at him walk, we see some evidence of those creases. We see some evidence right there as you come off of that tail head. There is just a little bit of roundness that you're seeing there. I think that it's one that is just enough. We would call him in the contest a 1-0, meaning that he is at the very bottom of a number 1 grade. we think that whenever you take him and put him out on grain and actually feed him and he gets bigger, that muscle is going to come. But what we're looking at is and having to grade is what we have in front of us here today, and not what's going to happen in the future. So in the contest, we would give you points if you did call that a number, that steer a number 2. So in review, we've got a large frame number 1, 1-0 for the Charlet steer. The black steer was in the upper third of the medium frame grade, and a fleshy high number 2. So any questions? I know that is a little bit maybe confusing, but we just kind of want to kind of show you guys. You hear us always talk about flesh condition, but we never really give good examples of a fleshy and then a thin flesh. So we thought that we had that today, and we thought that we could roll those in here for our school animals and use those and let you see what we see, and whenever we're talking about flesh conditions and how that can change with each animals and those conditions. All right, if I don't see any hands, so what we'll do, we can go ahead and let these 2 animals out. And we will now begin the contest. And so with that, no cell phones out. No talking to your neighbors. Hopefully they have you guys spread out and you're not sitting next to somebody that you rode in the truck or bus over with. But no talking. Everybody down here, we shouldn't have too wild of animals, but keep your hands and feet out of the ring. Don't want to get anybody hurt. We are here. This is a contest, so do your own work, and we are going to try and give you ample time. You'll get tired of me asking, anybody need a longer look or any more time? Do not be embarrassed. If you need more time, raise your hand. I'm getting old and bad eyesight, so make sure we see your hand. We'll give you as much time as we think is needed for the contest. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and dump the first animal in, and we'll get started. This will be animal number 1 in the contest. Any more time? We've got a few others. Do you mind if we bring that animal over on to the left? Anybody more time? All right, I don't see any hands, so we'll go ahead and let this animal out. This is animal number 2. Any more time? If we can we move the animal down this direction a little bit? We good? Any more time? I don't see any hands waving, so go ahead and swing the gate. Animal number 3. Any more time? Got one hand up here, I see. We good? Any more time over here? All right, I think we can open the gate. This will be animal number 4. Any more time? Any more time? Or sorry, a lot of time needed. This is animal number 5. Any more time? All right, any more time? I don't see any hands, so I think we can let this one out. This will be number 6. Number 6 in the contest. Everybody good? Got a hand up here. How about you? Everybody over here? Y'all good? I think we're good. Number 7. It's number 7 in the contest. Any more time? We good now? Raise your hand if you need a longer look. Good. All right, I think we're good. Animal number 8. Anybody need a longer look? All right, I think we're going to let this one out if I don't see any other hands. This is animal number 9. More time. Got a few on this end. Any more time? All right, we can go ahead and Number 10. Anyone need longer look? We get over here. Oh.
He needs it over there too. Dawson, if you could turn him around.
There you go. Just tap it. You're good. Use your flat and move it. There you go.
We good down here? All right, I think we're good. We can let this one out. Animal number 11. Any more time? Got some on either end here. We good now? All right, I don't see any hands waving, so I think we can let this one out. Animal number 12 in the contest has a weight of 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds on animal number 12. Any more time? Are we good now? Anybody need a longer look? Don't. We'll get that card. Wait just a second. Animal number 13 in the contest has a weight of 1,150 pounds. Animal number 13, 1,150 pounds. Any more time? All right. Oh, few right here. All right, any more time? I think we're good. Animal number 14 has a weight of 1,300 pounds. Number 14, 1,300 pounds. Any more time? All right. I've got one or two. Okay. All right. Are we good? Anybody need a longer look on this one? You can stare all day, Mr. Odell, but it's not going to help. All right. I think we can let this one out. All right, that was our last animal in the contest today. So what we're going to do is everybody remain seated, tear off the top white copy. Make sure that you do not have the I guess the perforated or the piece of paper that's got the holes. Make sure that that is off. What we need to do is I think we've got some 4-H instructor or agents and representatives and some of our ag teachers are here at the top. If y'all don't mind, let's pass the cards here towards the center. All right, what time? She told me that they weren't separating them. Are they?
Yeah, you got the.
You.
It's two different contests.
Okay. So 2 different contests. Sorry about that. She said just to turn them all. All right, first. All right, everybody with a 4-H card, raise them up. All right. And then start passing them. Pass them up. Everybody stay seated. This is going to be confused chaos for a second, but If you've got a 4-H card, pass them to the top. All right, how many 4-H cards do we still have out? 4-H cards.
You want me to shut them up?
Christy, are we good for that direction, 4-H? All right. All right, y'all be quiet. Like talking to my kids here, I have to get loud. But all right, I think we've got all of the 4-H cards turned in. Now, FFA, we need to do the same thing. Pass them to the top. I think we've got some people up there that will be collecting those.
Siri's talking to you.
Okay, we're going to get ready to run these cattle back through. So if you guys don't mind, make sure you get your cards turned in and then get your seat back. This will go a lot quicker than the contest will.
Dawson, what you been doing?
Working on recording.
You're up on you?
Was, now you go. I'm an angel.
Sounds like she knows you, so quit lying.
All right, have we got all of our FFA cards turned in? And I think, do we have anybody collecting adult cards? Mr. Brunker, right here. If you have an adult card,
You should have.
all right. All right, I think, have we got all of our cards turned in? All right, I'm going once.
I got it.
Yeah, we'll work on that. All right, so looks like we've got all of our cards in. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and we're going to run these animals back through and go through them really quickly. That way you can kind of see where we did. All right, let's quiet down. All right, so animal number one in the contest was this, what the black animal closest to you guys. They're on, well, no, he's closest to us. The one with no tag in its ear. Real quick, how many of you guys had all heifers on your card? Anybody have all steers? Anybody have steers and heifers? Okay. Well, we're going to have, that's probably some boos here, but there, if you noticed, all the animals in our contest were feeder steers today. So we probably won't go over that real in depth, but that's what all of them are, feeder steers. So the animal in number one, all right, let's quiet down, is in the middle. The black steer is there. One that we thought that whenever you look at him, that's what he, kind of his maturity, where he's at. He's starting, his hip height is kind of runs downhill a little bit, is another thing that is a kind of an indicator to us that one that is going to be, have some frame size. We thought one was going to be in the lower third of the large frame grade. Also one that on muscling, whenever you look, he's fairly kind of rectangular and flat, starts to get kind of thin and narrow up down towards that stifle region. We thought was going to be right in the middle of a number two. So number one was a feeder steer, large frame number two. Number two in the contest was the other black animal here in the middle with the white ear tag. One that whenever you're looking at him, hopefully you can kind of see whenever they're standing side by side. Number one is got a little bit more frame and leg to him. This steer, we have him in the upper portion of the medium frame grade, probably about 80% up into the medium frame grade. Also, whenever you're looking at him, he's got just a tick more or better muscling, but still muscling that ends up with him in the upper third of the number two category. So number two is a feeder steer, medium two, and number three in the contest was the kind of the cream color, not quite sure of what all bloodline we've got here, but hopefully one that, we called him kind of a large 100. We think that, he's just going to be an elephant and be a massive specimen whenever you take him to the feed yard. One that whenever you go to looking and assessing his muscle shape, I think, with looking at that navel, also some of the other loose kind of leather there, tends to think it. He's got some Bramer influence in him somewhere. That Bramer muscle is a little bit harder and different to look at whenever you're looking at it compared to some of these other breeds. One that we think that he is going to be one that is going to be right there at the top of the number two grade. So number three was a feeder steer, large frame, about and in the two grade, about 80% up into that number two. That muscle shape, I think there's some flesh condition that we're looking at, and just not true muscle whenever you get and dive right into that. So that is 1 through 3. We'll go ahead and turn those out. All right, number 4 in the contest was the red steer here with the 33 ear tag in him. He's one that I think whenever you kind of look at him, look at his the bone mass that he's carrying. He's got not an extremely long tail, but I mean he's got a little bit of age to him. I think that is one though that whenever you look at him, I think that he gets kind of in the large frame grade, kind of about 10-20% up into it. I think we're looking at probably 1,270 pounds whenever he's on the rail there. I think he's one. We'll do a quick survey here again of how many called this animal a number 1 muscle. How many called it a number 2 muscle? So it looks fairly close. Today, whenever we looked at him, we thought that he has a little bit of roundness and curvature right whenever you come over that top or that round, but he starts to narrow up quite a bit whenever you get down low. We thought that with that lack of muscling carrying all the way down, we ended up landing at a 290 on him. We did, however, give 7 points if you called him a number 1 muscled animal. So number 4 was a feeder steer, large frame, number 2, but did give 7 points for a number 1 muscled animal. Number 5 in the contest was the black steer with I think here in the lead, the kind of the mott face steer there. Another one that we felt fairly comfortable was going to be kind of in the lower third of the number, in the large frame category. And I think that you look there, he is taller at his hip height, taller, longer legged than the red steer that we just talked about. One that whenever you look at his moving into his muscling, whenever you look, he's fairly rectangular and flatter in shape. One that we thought landed right in the top third of the 2 categories. So number 5 was a feeder steer, large frame, number 2. Number 6 was the black baldy steer here. That one that kind of hopefully you realized and saw. I think he was probably the heaviest muscled animal that we had in the contest today. Reason I'm pointing out his muscling first is we know that he is, whenever you look at him and his size right now, he's not that doesn't have that large frame kind of length of leg and skeletal makeup, but I think he's adequate in his skeletal frame there. One that we think that with as much muscling as he has, I think that muscle is going to be weight and push him over that 1,250 pounds. We think he's going to be somewhere around 1,260, 1,265 at time of slaughter, making him in the lower portion of the large frame grade. We think he's probably 40% up or maybe a little bit better in to the number 1 on his muscling. It's number 6, feeder steer, large frame, number 1 muscle. We can go ahead and let these out.
I think they must have also been shocked over the whole steers.
All right, number 7 in the contest was the red baldy, kind of Hereford appearing steer there. One one that kind of looking at him, we looked and studied him. Kind of went kind of back and forth on where he was going to be. I think that he has got some age on him, but one that whenever you look at him is frame size. Now he does kind of hip height is a little bit taller than his shoulders. I think is one that just gets into the bottom portion of a large frame grade. We also think that looking at him, he starts to kind of narrow up as he gets down in that lower quarter, down towards that stifle region. I figured that he was going to be somewhere around 70% up into the number 2 grade. So number 7 was feeder steer, large frame, number 2. Number 8 was the black steer. One that we thought that you look at him here, he's kind of shorter necked, shorter from that knee down to the ground. One that we think that kind of shorter, coupled probably about 80% up into the medium frame grade. Also one that we thought that didn't carry just excessive muscle. Thought that he had just a shot better than the Hereford steer front of him, but thought yet again he was a top portion of a number 2 grade. So 8 feeder steer, medium frame, number 2. Number 9 was the kind of the red steer here closest to us. One that we thought that he has got some age to him. He might be probably the oldest one that we had in the contest today. You look at that age, you look at kind of his body shape and conformation there, we thought was going to be kind of right in the middle of the medium frame grade. Also thought that he was fairly fleshy in his condition. We thought you can see some curvature, but that again we feel is a little bit of a fat cover that we're looking at, much like the one there in the school that we kind of discussed and talked about. We thought this steer was going to be right at the very top of the number 2 grade. And like earlier in the contest, we thought he was very close on the line between a 2 and a 1, and did give 7 points if you called this steer a number 1 muscled animal. So in recap, 7 was a feeder steer, large frame, number 2. 8 was a feeder steer, medium frame, number 2. And number 9 was a feeder steer, medium frame, number 2, with 7 points if you called him a 1 muscled animal. We'll go ahead and let those out.
Is this hanging when they kill them? These weights? Yeah.
All right, number 10 was the the black steer that had kind of the nub horns on him. Kind of like what we talked about earlier. That's what kind of has a little bit of navel present there. Kind of one of those that kind of Ag 101 tells you that some of those animals are going to be bigger in their frame size. We thought he was going to be not quite as big as the Charolais steer and the cream colored one that we had earlier, but figured he was going to be 60-70% up into the large frame category. Also, whenever you look at him, has enough curvature and enough muscling that we thought that he was going to be about 20% up into the to the number one grade there. He carries it down a little bit further than what some of those others that we've seen previously. The black steer here with the kind of green ear tag is one that we thought that is one that kind of you look at his length of neck, also kind of length of bone from that knee down to his ankle. One that we think that he's starting to put on some fat cover himself. Don't think that he's going to get tremendously bigger in his frame. We think that he was going to be somewhere right there in that very kind of the top part of that medium frame grade. We also, whenever you look at that muscling, he's flatter, more rectangular in that shape, landing him in the upper portion of a number two muscled animal. So number 10 was a feeder steer, large frame 1. Number 11, feeder steer, medium frame number 2.
All right, let's be quiet. We're almost done. We're to the cow portion of our contest. Number 12 in the contest was back tag number 19, so the solid black cow. She is actually the fattest cow we had in the contest. Not too much variation today, but that's just the way it is. So 917. She's smooth up over her shoulders, over her top. We kind of felt like she's just starting to show some pone fat around her tail head, just barely starting to brisket, not too much. We called her 3/10 on her back fat. That is an 81% lean. We gave you the weight of 1,000 pounds, and that is an adjustment of a plus 0.8. Looking at her muscle shape, very rectangular when you look at her from behind. Don't see too much beach ball effect. We think she's very average in her muscle shape, so that's an adjustment of a plus 0.7. So she's right in the middle of that boner category at 82.5. Dressing percent on this cow, we feel like she's pretty average in her fill. Again, nothing to add with muscle. And we've got her at 50%. So boner cow, 50% dressing percent. Number 13 in the contest is the Charolais cow. Let's be quiet, we're almost done. And this cow would have been the thinnest cow in the contest. She's got a little bit of cover, no pone fat. Kind of starting to show a little bit of thinness over her loin shelf, but then when you look at her through her shoulders and through her front, she's still carrying a little bit of cover on her. We think she has just enough to be 2/10 in her back fat, so that's an 83% lean. We gave you the weight of 1150. That's an adjustment of minus 0.4. We do think she is up in that thick category. She's a little bit odd in her muscle shape. I don't think she's quite got that beach ball effect, but she is fairly thick up through her the top of her rounds. We've got her in the thick minus, and that is a plus 1.3. So she's at the top side of that boner category of 83.9. Dressing percent on her, we started her at 48%. We put her in that thick category, so we gave her 1. I also believe she's a little bit gant. We gave her 1 there, and we also called her 50%. So another 50% boner. The last cow in the contest is the Black Baldy, the largest cow in the contest. And she kind of fits right in the middle, I feel, in her flesh conditions, barely starting to show any pone fat. She's got a little cover over the top of her back. Not really impressed with her brisket, doesn't have quite as much as what the solid black cow has, so we've got a quarter back fat on her. That starts her at an 82% lean. The weight was 1,300 pounds. That is a minus 1.6. And again, Phil, she's very average in her muscle shape, very rectangular when you look at her from behind. And that is a plus 0.7 adjustment for an 81.1 boner. Dressing percent, don't feel like she's quite as good as the other two, lacking just a little bit, because of her fat cover. So we've got her at 49% on her dressing percent. So all three cows were boners today. First two were 50% dressing percent, and the last cow 49%. Thank you. Lunch is being served out in the lobby, right? In the cafeteria. So if y'all would like to go get in line for lunch.